Hey everybody! Well, the weather's been beautiful, and so I'm going to be doing more of my live streams outside because I love to do them outside. And we're currently in my backyard. I live in a great place. Grass and all of that other neat stuff. Hey Jody, nice to see you. And Kelly's here too. Awesome. So today's topic is what's in your toxic relationship. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, Shiatsu massage therapist, and I specialize in helping women really get in alignment and get strong enough, hey Kellyanne, so that they can take back the power in their relationship. And Sky's here too. Awesome. So today's topic, as I said, is power in toxic relationships. You know, I just finished Easter here, and the first narcissist that was in my life was my father. And he was narcissistic not because of a negative intent, but he was narcissistic because he was in so much pain and so uncomfortable inside of himself that he didn't know how to handle that pain. And so he would react and he'd lash out and he'd manipulate. And it would be really, really difficult. And as the years gone by, of course, he's mellowed a little bit. And my sister and I have worked really hard, and my mom too, to get us all into a good space to try to bring the family together. But my dad still brings up those tendencies and those behaviors sometimes. And it definitely got me on the thought process of why we don't have any power in our relationships and where that came from. You know, many of us as children had these ideas put into our heads. Hey, Jill. Had these ideas put into our heads that we had no power. And actually, as children, we usually don't. You know, for me, it led to, being molested outside of my home and a number of difficult relationships with people and repeating the same sorts of things because I was taught at a very early age that I had no power, that I had no voice, that what I said didn't matter, that in order to be a good person, in order to grow up into a good woman, I had to be quiet, and I had to be meek, and I had to be invisible, and I had to not say anything, and I had to stay out of out of causing any ruckus. My sister and I became very, very good girls. We're wonderful at people pleasing and wonderful at knowing how to help people get along. But what this did for us is it put us in toxic relationships because we didn't realize that we had power. And that's one of the biggest problems of why we end up in these toxic relationships is because we have what's called a victim mindset. Now, a lot of times this whole victim mindset thing is used as a way to demonize or villainize people or say, you're just playing the victim. You're just, pretending that you're being victimized. And sometimes we say it about other people too. We're like, well, they're just pretending to be a victim. There's nothing really wrong. That victim mindset, what it really looks like is when you think you have no power, when you think you've got no voice, when you think that nothing you say will matter, that everything will always stay the same and it will never change. That's the victim mindset, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a tough place to live, and it means that you end up in these toxic situations and toxic relationships, and they never change. Hey, Tracy, not because you don't have power, but because you don't realize the power that you have. I'll give an even creepy, weird, cool example. They just came out with a vibrator, and the vibrator uses sonic waves, and the sonic waves are used to vibrate the whole structure, and it's like the best one I've ever found, ever, and it's the first one that uses sound waves. So, many times we end up in situations, in life where we think that we have no power to find pleasure. We have no power to get our needs met. We have no power to be respected. But in reality, the power is all around us. For me, the power was this very cool sonic vibrator. Hey, April, you came in at an interesting quote. Was, something like that, taking back that power. Hey, Allison. So we've got the power to respect ourselves and the power to love ourselves, even if nobody else around us does. We have the power to feel good and to find pleasure, to get our needs met. We've got that power. It's the belief that we have no power or that we're trying to control somebody else to get something done that gets us stuck and makes us feel helpless and puts us back into that victim mindset. The victim mindset feels like, oh no, what am I going to do? This is terrible. I feel trapped. I feel stuck. There's nothing I can do. And it's a very internal movement. It's a very movement almost of a cringing back and a pulling back. Now, sometimes pulling back is great because it gives you that space. But this is pulling back in anxiety because we think there's nothing we can do. But in reality, there's so much we can do, whether it be changing our vitamins, whether it be starting to go for a walk, whether it be, for me, it was hiring a coach, finding somebody who was just as excited about doing what I'm doing as I was, and behind me. We have power. And when we stay in that place of, oh no, what am I going to do? I feel trapped. I feel helpless. I feel stuck. When we stay in that place, it's called, it's not a growth mindset. It's called a fixed mindset. It means that we believe nothing can ever change. When we have a growth mindset, there's this idea of, what are the solutions? How can I problem solve this? What can I do next? What are the tools out there? What's changed? This happens a lot. Hey, Marina. It happens a lot when I work with women who have very chronic health issues. They go to their doctor and their doctor says, you must be crazy. Let's say it's fibromyalgia or something else. The doctor says, you must be crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just getting older. You need to suck it up and deal with it. That's what our society tells us. But in reality, that's not true. That's not true. And we're seeing stories and information out all over the place of people who are living to 120, how we can reverse the damage of our bodies, how we can reverse the choices that we made 20, 30 years ago. There is always change and growth and hope possible. And when you have that mindset, that's what gives you the power. When you recognize that you are not helpless, that you are not hopeless, that change is always possible, that your body is constantly changing and evolving, and you need to keep looking until you find the solution, until you find the things that make you feel better. It took me over 4 decades to find a good vitamin that I liked, and I finally found one. And the cool thing are the positive effects it's having on me, on my physicality, on my energy, on my sleep, on all of these things. Now, I could have given up. Decades is a long time before you find a good vitamin, let's say. But I knew there was something out there. I knew there was something that I needed, and I was going to keep looking until I find it. So what happens is we find one thing, and it makes us feel a little bit better, and then you build upon that and find the next thing, and then you build upon that and find the next thing. So in your relationships, you probably feel completely helpless. And if you do, it's because you're in a stuck mindset. But when you start surrounding yourself with people who understand that there's hope and positivity and growth and evolution and miracles and magic, and that we are never, ever trapped. And that's why you don't have any power in a toxic relationship. Because if you believe you don't, if you believe there's nothing you can do, then that's what makes you stuck. And when you believe that there are solutions and answers and things are going to be out there, you start to find one after the other after the other. And then they build. And then you turn around and you're like, how did I get here? This is awesome. How did I shape and create this life that I want? So step number 1 is to believe it's possible, because it absolutely is. From quantum physics to the science of the body mind to what they're really discovering about how the human body works and the heart works and the energy fields work, they're finding that change is possible and miraculous in every single way. They taught us that it wasn't, that you were stuck and fixed, but that's just not true. They lied to you, maybe because they didn't know any better, maybe because they wanted to keep you under control and under their thumb. That's all very possible. And the narcissist tells you the same thing. There's no hope. You can't change. This is the way it's always going to be. And so you start hanging around people who say, oh no, that's not true. And even though you might not be able to do something about this situation right now, you can make yourself bigger and stronger. You can make yourself smarter and cleaner thinking. You can heal your body. These things are absolutely possible. And when you do that, you eventually become stronger and bigger and smarter than all of your toxic relationships. Because in reality, they're the ones who have no power, because they don't know how to change. They don't believe change is possible. And because of that, they will always stay stuck. And even though you might have been behind them, as you keep doing these things, your Reiki, as you keep doing your energy work, as you keep getting body work done, as you keep getting therapy and coaching and vitamins, vibrators, and all of those things, you grow past the toxic relationship. And then you get to choose, do I want to stay or do I want to go? If you want to stay, it's because there's value in it, because you see hope. If you want to go, it's because you're like, nope, they're in a fixed mindset. There is no hope for them. Or I don't want to put this effort or time into it because they don't recognize they don't have to be this way anymore. Okay? And that is the big difference. You have to believe you've got power in order to have power. And oh, yes, you do. Everybody does. Every single human being has that power and ability. And it's believing in it that makes the biggest difference. So if you're feeling stuck, and we all do, because we're surrounded by people who are naysayers and negative energy and throw us down and tell us that we're not good enough. We're surrounded by that. It's easy to believe, and it's easy to feel stuck. And if you do, take a look out for the group that I created. It is healthy strategies to cope with narcissists, and ask to join. It's all about narcissist information. It's a positive bent. It's a great community. And so look it up on Facebook and join that. And keep watching the live streams because it'll move you in the right direction. I do coaching, I do group programs, I do all that stuff because my passion is to help you stop feeling like you are helpless and start becoming the amazing star. Hey, Tracy, thank you. The amazing star, the amazing, wonderfulness and miracle that you really are. Hey, Natalia. You absolutely can be. But one of the things that I learned more than anything is you cannot do it alone. If you do it alone, if you do it in emotional isolation, it's going to take forever. You're going to feel very stuck, and you're going to feel like you're not making any progress. But when you start surrounding yourself, I've got like 3 coaches right now. It's phenomenal. And they all work on different parts of my psyche. They all work on different parts of who I am. We need community. We need family that we've created that loves us and cares about us, and they are out there. You have to believe it, and if you believe it, you'll start to find it and see it, and it'll start to attract them as well. Okay? So cool. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you enjoy this weather. It's a little cool today, but that's okay. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Talk to you later.